Okay, now we're going to go over just kind of the basic layout of a job detail. So as you remember, you hit the three little lines and then show job information. Let that load here. Get this job ticket pulled up. At the top here, you'll notice as I scroll down, the scheduled with the check mark, nothing to do there. Project umbrella we'll cover later. As we scroll down, you'll see that area. The first wave here that you'll notice is some gray buttons and some colored buttons. I'll make another video on processing and using the hot buttons here at the top, but those are just action buttons. The responsible user you can disregard. And then here's the customer info. This is the address and name, phone number, that good stuff. If you zoom in and you hit the phone number, that one works just fine for the quick touch. This down here, or I'll scroll back out, this here with the address, if you have a GPS separate in your car, you're probably going to be better off typing that anyway. Sometimes I'm fortunate enough to copy this. I find it to be a little bit tricky, but you can copy and then paste this into your maps on your phone if you want to. So there's that. The phone number works. I think eventually that address will change in their system where it's easy touch. Seller information, you can see it's 3-day blinds. The sales associate is the DC. And then now starts the job information. If you remember from that earlier video, the popover that gave you some of this info, it's the same information. So the job is scheduled. I will say all of these drop downs and these boxes they're all gray, because as installers it makes it much easier if you can't mess with this stuff, because we're using touch screens and scrolling and touching and zooming. All of this has been shut off. We operate and change the status of a job by using hot buttons. So this will just let you know it's an install. It's 3-day. The invoice number here, it's grayed out, but you can see it. That is it's under purchase. It'll always be under purchase order number. Everything we do in here, that's where we're putting it. That's the invoice number. If you scroll down to this invoice number, disregard it. It's automatically generated in CIO for billing purposes. You can see the purchase order amount. It says $0. We can scroll down here and see if this is a zero pay return trip. It looks like an install of 3 HD PowerView rollers. So you'd want to reach out to the office and say, hey, there's no dollars on my job ticket here. So something went awry in the original pushing this paperwork through and assessing. Now you keep scrolling down, you'll see schedule details. You can see it's an install. You can see the dates, scheduled for, who it's on. It says 12 to 2 right here. I want you to keep in mind that is not your 2-hour arrival time. That is a job duration, the average time they think that the job will take. So you might see this and it might be a bigger install. It's 12 to 4. Just keep in mind, whatever the first time is on there, that's the beginning of your 2-hour time frame. So this one is a 12 to 2 arrival time because the first time is 12. If it said 12 to 4, it would still be a 12 to 2 2-hour arrival time. If you have a measure and it would say it's only scheduled about an hour long, so it says 12 to 1. Keep in mind, that's a 12 to 2 2-hour arrival time. As far as the delivery and info, scheduling notes, there's none in there. You can scroll past that, and then you'll see the scope of work notes. That's the first little bit. You can tell the office is written up. This big block of crazy information is what the system automatically pulls from the original 3-day paperwork. So each line number on 3-day paperwork, how they have notes, and then at the end where they have general bulk notes, it's going to grab it all. So some of that looks repetitive, and that's because it's grabbing it off of each line. You scroll down here, you'll see related orders, and there's that project umbrella. Let's talk about related orders first. That's if we did the check measure and now we're on an install. You can see here under this blue line, there's another, that's a job right there. That's the related order. So if you click the computer screen icon right there on the top left, it will open it up in a new tab, and you'll be able to go through that previous related order. That way, if you're at an install, you pull up the previous measure. That's the previous job detail or ticket, or other. Sometimes there's multiple. If you're on a return trip, there might be the install. There might be a previous work order, an install, and the check measure. The project umbrella is a bigger span that kind of helps you see multiple jobs that have to do with whether a DC or, say, a realtor. They're selling a big project, like a big development or something like that. So it keeps processing through the same person, the same real estate agent or something like that, or they're doing apartments. That way, it just kind of links them. You probably won't use it much, to be honest. If it comes up, it is there. So jobs that might be associated under that project umbrella. Most everything you do is that yellow related orders, and they're always listed, so you can just click right on them. The next is notes and email information. I wouldn't use this to put a note on there very often. The reason, unless you've already reconciled and you remembered something and you want to go back in there, the reason being is this note doesn't notify anyone that a note has been put on this job detail, so there's a chance it could be overlooked. There is a way to send an email out of this. We can go over that later, but that is the notes and email information here. Below this is all the notes, kind of a paper trail of emails and notes and anything that's happened on this job. As you can see, there's an email, and there's a note by Nella, then there was a note by Tanisha, and then this is the original note when the paperwork was processed. It just kind of timestamps and documents and paper trails everything. These windows, keep in mind these little gray windows, if you scroll up here, see where it says notes and email information in the gray bar? There's a little triangle on all of these, and if you hit that triangle, it will snap it out of the way. So if you want to tighten this stuff up and you're just needing the basic note information, feel free to expand or collapse anything you'd like by hitting those. So I usually just scroll because it's pretty easy on a mobile device. Okay, at the very bottom, the last thing is attachments. This only has one attachment, the magnifying glass with the paper there. That's a preview. If you select that, you'll see that it kind of snaps it to the middle of this job detail. So once this loads, see, it took me back to the top, and then if I scroll down, it's in the center of the page is this preview window. You can zoom in. You can see all the original paperwork from 3-day here. You can close it right here with that X. You can rotate pages if you need to, which I really don't need to in this system, but just in case they are there. But you don't have to close it. You can just scroll around if you'd like. The other option for opening this is hitting the actual name of the file. This name happens to be named Sue and Wally, so the PDF there. If you touch that, it'll open it in an entirely new tab. So I had to refresh there to get it to not be fuzzy for some reason, but as you can see, I have just the paperwork pulled up in a different browser tab. This is just for previewing purposes. It's you might want to try them both on your device and see which one you like. If I pull up my pages here, you can see here's my page down there that I loaded, and here's my ticket. I often do like it this way, so I wouldn't have this up. Excuse me. I'll close this window. I wouldn't have this preview up. I would have opened it just with the additional tab, and that allows me to be in this tab, browser tab, go to this one, check things, so on and so forth. So kind of snap back and forth that way. This is the general basics of just kind of where to find things. I'll make another video of how to actually get a signature, write up a reconciliation, and then I'll do another one for attaching documents like measure sheets and pictures.